Welcome to the Flashcast series by Full Spectrum Education.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 9. Today, Lachie's going to be talking about why it's important to reach out to your friends regularly. Enjoy.
Welcome back, team. So today we'll be talking about why you need to reach out to your mates regularly. I did say weekly, but let's just say regularly. It is so easy in this day and age to allow weeks, months, and even years to go by without connecting with people that are really important to you. I experienced this, and as life happens for us, our priorities change, our focuses change, who we spend time with changes. Okay, and overall things just are constantly changing. But as human beings, one thing we really crave is connection, right? It's the ability to feel heard and understood, right? And in order for us to feel heard and be understood, I believe that we need to practice developing the skill of communication. We need to practice and foster, if that's the right word, connection. I think about, since I've been on my journey of growth since 2014, and I let a lot of great relationships disappear, and some deliberately, some intentionally, some unintentionally, and some just because I got lazy. But I didn't find the time, and I kept saying, yeah, I'll get to that. And next thing you know, 3 years have passed. And there's been moments over that time where I've seen mates catching up and I haven't been invited, right? Or I call up, check in with a mate, and I haven't, I find out some news on social media, but never find out off them firsthand anymore. And I start thinking, well, maybe I start feeling lonely. I start feeling disconnected. I start feeling like I don't have those relationships. And as I sort of thought about this for myself, I was like, relationships and reaching out to your friends is takes time, and it takes effort. It's very, very easy now, especially with social media. Like I get overwhelmed with the amount of messages that I get across all the platforms, and I'm grateful, but it's also overwhelming because I think from time to time there's always people messaging me, asking advice, or just checking in, all those sorts of things. And while that's amazing, at the same time, responding to all of that takes away time where I could be checking in with my great mates. And I get to honesty here, where I get burnt out because I'm spending so much time trying to help all these other people that I don't help myself in my own relationships. So the importance of reaching out to your mates regularly, and I say weekly because that's what I do, and I've been aiming to do for the past 6 months. Because if you can do that, even if it's for a quick check-in, right, you continue to keep those communication lines open. And, when times are tough or when there's exciting things to share, they'll think of you to share that, and you're a part of something bigger than yourself. Right, how have I gone about doing that? Okay, so obviously if you're an iPhone person, Android, I don't know how to help you guys. I don't have an Android, never had one. But iPhone, you can make a favorites list. So I've put the people that I want to connect with in weekly on there, and I always am checking my favorites, and I'll give them a buzz whenever I'm, on public transport or being driven somewhere, or even just walking. Give them a quick FaceTime or a call just to check in and see how they're going. Share some exciting stuff that's going on in my life, or find out some exciting stuff that's going on in theirs. And through that, guys, we get to develop those bonds. We get to develop those relationships and overcome that feeling of being lonely, right? That loneliness that so many people have in this day and age. We all strive for connection. Like I said, we all strive to feel heard. And that doesn't just happen. It's very rare, unfortunately, that you'll have a conversation with a person that you go, this person just gets me, right? I feel like I could tell this person everything and anything. But through developing those relationships and constantly checking in and taking that time, you will create that space. You will build that trust and that unwavering belief that that person is there to support you no matter what you go through. So consider it this way, right? Like, it's easy, and I'll share from my experience, like I found it easy to put it on the back burner because I was like, I'm building a business, my career, all that sort of stuff's important, which it is. Granted, it is. But what if you have no one to share it with? What if you have no one to tell your successes about? What if you have no one to share your challenges with? How worth it is it then? And that's going to be a different response for all of us. I get that. But I always think about that question. And I always think, when I was really diving into my work, I didn't have many people to share it with. But over the last sort of 12 months, I've really focused on reconnecting with those people so I can share challenges, wins, what I'm up to. I can get perspective. People can challenge me on, why I've changed my way of thinking from 12 months ago. It doesn't need to be difficult. It just needs to be a priority. Because before you were ever in the workforce, the most important thing for most of us was our friends, right? Maybe one or two hobbies. But if we don't make time for them, they will disappear and people will move on. And life's always moving, right? As we go through the stages, people are studying, people are getting different jobs, people are moving, people are having families, buying houses, and things are changing. And often we can feel like, oh, they're at a different stage in our life now. Maybe we aren't friends anymore. Maybe we don't have much in common. And that just comes from a lazy perspective. That comes from not wanting to do the work and seek to understand what it's like to be them anymore, or vice versa, to keep building that relationship. So if I can give any advice, and this is off my own experience here and knowing what I know about a lot of men that I work with, it's so important to keep that weekly connection with your mates. So important. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And that one's a real simple one, but it's also simple not to do. But I cannot stress how much in this day and age we undervalue our relationships with our mates. Something that seems like they'll always be there. It doesn't happen, right? When life moves and you start feeling disconnected, it works both ways, and eventually you don't have that bond anymore. Eventually you won't be sharing or learning those things. You don't just establish something and it stays like that forever. Not possible. So thank you guys for tuning in once again. Next week, the final week, we're going to be talking about why you must learn to say no.
Thanks for listening to today's Flashcast. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to email into us at info@fsedu.com.au, and be sure to tune into our social channels so you don't miss the next episode. Thanks, see you next time.